As I grew up, I became more and more aware of the reality that surrounded me. My grandparents told me about a time when they couldn't speak to their friends and neighbors freely. A time when they lived in fear. A time when only some could afford to go to school, to wear shoes, and even to be nourished. And that time was not so long ago. They told me that their fathers and uncles would get sent to a war which they did not want to fight. They told me that the wishes for the independence of the colonies were silenced. And they told me about a man who ruled amongst the elites and for the elites. But they also told me about the young men and women that fought for their liberation in both continents. Salgueiro de Maia, Otto de Carvalho, Zeca Afonso, Amílcar Cabral, and many others. So these people inspired me to learn more. I grew up in Portugal, in a society that was the product of the Carnation Revolution of 1974. However, my family often reminded me that if the fascist regime prevailed, me and many others would not enjoy the liberties we do today. For starters, I would not be standing here on this stage. I would not be speaking about any sort of political issues. In fact, I would not be able to participate in the political sphere, and I would not be able to vote because I'm a woman. Perhaps I would not have my next meal as a given. I would not be able to read the books I do or listen to the music I do. But thankfully, I do. And because I do, I know not to take those things for granted. So I became interested in the study of our societies and their dynamics. Over time, I learned about many atrocities that have been committed in the past and that are being perpetrated to this day. And I also learned about many that achieved great goals, that dared to be subversive, and that fought for the causes that felt closest to them. And so, as I discussed with peers and family and friends, I realized the importance of political studies in school, in the media, and in social contexts. And so this is how I learned about political consciousness. In broader terms, it can be defined as one's political role, or the actions one takes in order to achieve a certain political or socioeconomic goal. For me, this concept is very important because we are no longer on the sidelines of a boxing match, watching as one takes a punch right on the left cheek. We are no longer in the audience. We are in the middle of the ring, taking a hit and dodging as we predict our opponent's next move. For me, political consciousness is a never-ending fight for our beliefs. There is never one last minute when the referee blows the whistle and raises our arm in a declaration of victory. Every day, we must wake up, put on our gloves, and suffer some punches, but make slow advancements towards our end goal. This is not to say, of course, that our society is a big boxing match, far from it, but I find that this is a simple way of portraying how political consciousness makes us reactive to the ever-changing conditions of our society, and we become an active role in shaping a better functioning one. And so I find that this, combined with the ability to recognize others' humanity, are two notions which play a paramount role in our participation in the political sphere. Our world is today filled with conflicts, whether those are between or within states. And in many of those, the dehumanization of the other plays a large role in upholding the support for that conflict. And so it is key that we recognize that anywhere in the world, people will laugh of joy as their friends tell them a story. Tears will drip down their cheeks as they receive sad news about their loved ones. Their eyebrows will frown as they face frustration. They will come home to hug those who they admire the most, to tell them about their successes. And anywhere in the world, they will bleed the same blood, in the battlefield, in the streets, or in their home, as their security is compromised. So, regardless of our geographical location, we must have compassion for each other. We must attempt to understand others' anger and resentment, even if we are the target of that same resentment. This might sound like a cliche, but as my parents always told me, we must step into others' shoes. Only then will we understand the different implications of that conflict. I don't expect every single one of you to be interested in politics or to want to pick up a politics course, but I find that these two concepts can help us understand the societies we live in and the world beyond it. And so, no matter what you study, or where you work, or what you do, I find it is important to have a look around and question, why am I living in these conditions? Why am I working in these conditions? Why is my national or local government making certain decisions? And the conclusions we come to might help us understand how our perspective of society can help envision a better one. On a larger scale, I find that these questions are equally important. Why is it that a state is engaging in a certain conflict or reacting in a certain way? How are its people being affected? Which groups are suffering the most? And once again, we might come to conclusions that help us humanize what is often presented to us as a simple number. Thank you.